Hey, Rick, what did you eat last night?
Purple sweet potatoes. And I know this may not seem remarkable, but I don't think I've ever had them before. Have you?
I don't know if I have either. I've certainly had purple potatoes, but I don't think I've had purple sweet potatoes.
So I looked them up online because I love the taste of them, so I didn't quite understand the taste. So apparently they have a denser flavor, a richer flavor, and they have what's called a winey flavor, which I don't know really where that would come from, but I really agreed with everything they said. It was just so much richer. Because I actually don't like, say, sweet potatoes just plain on my plate. I like a hash. I like French fries. But it's not like I just like a sweet baked potato or any just sweet potato.
How were these
up on
prepared?
My plate. They were roasted. And I actually got them with salmon. So the salmon was encrusted with chives. And then it was the salmon on top of sweet potato, the purple sweet potatoes. And the purple sweet potatoes were on top of a black garlic. You have to help me say this. Beurre blanc sauce?
Beurre blanc.
It's a French sauce,
yeah,
I think.
beurre blanc.
And it's basically simmered with shallots in a white wine sauce. So I'm suspecting this may have been simmered with black garlic.
Oh, my God. Well, beurre blanc is a butter sauce, but obviously that was a
butter.
black garlic butter sauce, which sounds terrible. Who likes garlic and butter? Good Lord.
So at the bottom of the dish was this sort of dark brown, blackish looking sauce. I was like, ew, that's interesting. Then on top of that, they had put the purple sweet potatoes. I'm like, well, that's even more fascinating. And then on top of that was the salmon. And then they put all this big old handful of just tiny, tiny, tiny chopped chives right on top of the dish. It was so good.
Without the salmon, I would be so happy with that.
Totally. Now, I did also get a macaroni gratin, which was, God, I was carb loading because, that's what I'm into this year, apparently.
Yes.
I had a macaroni gratin, and it had small shells. It had a Mornay cheese sauce, which is basically like a bechamel sauce, I guess, and it had grated Gruyere cheese in it. And it was cooked and so tasty and so delightful. I was so happy. I was a little bit ready to be sick at the end of the whole meal between the potatoes and the pasta shells. But it was really good.
I bet it was.
How about you? What did you eat?
I had a freezer clear out meal, which I sometimes do. I make all this stuff and I'm usually cooking for one or two people, and a lot of it ends up in the freezer, and then suddenly I end up with no room in the freezer and no storage pots, and I'm like, I have to use the stuff in the freezer. But I want to
When you said clear out, I thought you were going to say clearance. I thought, did you put up signs on the local posts around your neighborhood for it?
I almost did. I have a couple friends that I invite over where it feels that way. I'm like, hey, freezer clear out. You interested? And they're like, yeah, because usually it's tasty. And they're like, yes, I'll come. And it's usually like tapas style, where I will have bits of stuff. Not always, but a lot of times I will have little bits of stuff. And this was one of those examples where we had 5 soups.
Nice, really?
Yeah, I had 5 bowls of soup, which turned out to be one bowl over the line because I was really full by the end of that 5th bowl of soup, let me tell you.
It's good to know where the limit is with soups.
Yeah, and I was very impressed by the way it all came together. It was sort of accidental. I was just needing to clear stuff out, and a lot of the serving sizes were just a little more than I wanted. So I always invite people over for this because it's more fun also, and I have enough to share. And I always want to cook fresh stuff when I can. And so anyway, so the first was a garlic soup from Ottolenghi's cookbook, which is very garlicky and savory, and it's got saffron and wine, and it's really delicious.
It's one of my favorite soups.
It is so good. It's delicate and intense at the same time. I don't know how that's possible, but it really is, right? And then I had a dal, an Indian lentil dal that I had made, and I make a whole bunch of different kinds of dal, and this I don't remember what kind this was. It was some dal. It was good. It was delicious. Probably made in the Instant Pot, I would imagine. And then beef chili, which was definitely made in the Instant Pot, very traditional, not real beef chili, not like what Texans would say, where it's actually beef and chili, but like the sort of, American chili with ground beef and beans and stuff. And it was so good. Again, that Instant Pot, and there was a lot of depth of flavor in this chili. I don't remember what I put in there that made it so delicious, which is a bummer, because it was one of those things, again, it's the thing of the Instant Pot. It tasted like it had been cooking for hours and hours, and it really hadn't. It was very, very good.
Wow.
And then a lentil chicken soup that was really tasty. And then the finale was French onion soup. And I did go to the trouble of buying a baguette and some Gruyere cheese because I have the proper crocs. And I thought, well, if you're going to have French onion soup, you got to do it right. So I did it properly with the melted cheese and stuff. Although by the end, we were both like, oh my God, one less soup would have been better.
I was dying through this whole explanation to know what was the serving order. And then you revealed that's the order you served them in because I was desperate to know which soup pushed everyone over the edge.
Yeah, French onion, because it had the cheese and bread.
God, totally.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I like the combination, though, there. You had a lot of sort of like couple different continents going on. That was good.
Yeah. And you know what was interesting is that almost everything benefited from cilantro and lime.
Wow.
So I noticed some trends. Well, the garlic soup didn't need either of those, but the other four, I think, well, no, actually, that's not true. The dal, chili, and lentil had cilantro and lime on them.
And that really speaks to our whole thing about how much we love basically eating buffet style.
Mm-hmm. Tapas is my favorite. Little bits of a lot of things. Oh, I adore it.
Yeah.
And I cleared out some freezer space.
Yay. Are you a labeler when you put stuff in your freezer?
I am now. I didn't used to be. And my mother, of course, told me for years to do it. And I was like, no, Mom, you're not the boss of my freezer. I'll know what's in there. And then I had enough experiences of what the hell is this that I do, in fact, label. But I don't put dates because I generally don't keep things in there long enough that I need to date them.
Yeah, totally.
But I do label what they are. On rare occasion, I get cocky and don't, and always regret it. Yeah.
Totally. Because whenever I get cocky and don't label, I'm like, oh, I'll remember this one. And then like a month or two later, I'm like, oh, man.
Yeah, I know. Moms know a lot of things. Hello, and welcome to another episode of You Won't Believe What I Ate Last Night. I'm Kate.
And I'm Rick.
And this is our ongoing conversation about food, health, weight management, and our endeavor to be and stay healthy in a really tasty world.
With love, kindness, and compassion towards ourselves and others. Just a reminder, rate and review us. Rate and review us. Take a second and tell us what you like about this episode. Give us some credentials. It really helps other people find us.
Yes, thank you very much. Today we have a hot episode, people. Hot, hot, hot. We are talking about chili peppers and hot sauce, and our special guest is Wayne Walrath, live with us from the Catskills, from Phoenicia, New York. Wayne is a software engineer who is a hobbyist cook who loves being in his kitchen and researching how to make things and make them properly. He makes everything from breads to pizza doughs to hot sauces to pickles, and he enjoys learning about the science and chemistry of how to put foods together. And he says it annoys his wife because she's always doing it the wrong way, which is especially meaningful because Wayne's wife is friend of the podcast and dear friend of mine, Krista Trindler, who has come up on here many times. So thanks for sharing your husband, Krista. And
thank you.
Thanks for being here, Wayne.
Well, thank you. I'm so excited.
So are we.
All right, so we should talk a little bit about what you've done for us. You concocted, how many are there here? 7 hot sauces for us. He cooked them up, concocted them, and sent them to us, to both Kate and I, so we can do a taste test, and we can learn about hot sauces.
Yeah, you guys have to look on the website. We're going to have pictures of the spread that we have set out here and all the little jars of homemade hot sauces. It's really amazing. So the way we're going to take you through talking about them is that Rick and I are going to taste them for the first time here live on the podcast, and Wayne is going to guide us through that.
So this is a crunch alert. You're probably going to hear crunching.
I should note, though, that they weren't all concocted just for this show, because we've got one from like 2008 from the Hot Sauce Cave.
The Hot Sauce Cave, which suggests that these keep, what, like forever?
Vinegar and salt. It's a pretty good preservative, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so Wayne, what did you eat last night?
Well, a friend of the podcast, Krista, made a salad niçoise, if I'm saying that correctly.
Niçoise.
Niçoise. She did this beautiful big plate with some tuna steaks that were like still pink in the middle, and the hard-cooked egg and string beans with a dressing and Kalamata olives, butter, lettuce, tomato, probably some other things I'm forgetting.
How delightful. Yes, we should mention Krista is no slouch in the kitchen herself.
Nice.
Wait, what do you love about chili peppers? Why hot sauces? Why chilies?
You know, some of it I think is just the adrenaline, the endorphin rush. Mm-hmm. I can remember standing around the kitchen with a friend, and we'd nibble off a habanero chili pepper, which is one of the very hot ones, although these days it's certainly not the hottest anymore. And you start sweating, and your body, it's like a drug. You get that sweat like right after sex, and then, you're exhausted and you're ready to go conquer the world.
Yes, I love it. Yeah, so there's a physical effect of it. That makes so much sense.
And, I'm reminded of, I don't know if I heard on the DVD liner notes or the DVD commentary for Pulp Fiction, or if I read it as trivia, but have you guys seen Pulp Fiction?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, yeah, I've seen it many times, and there's that scene where Christopher Walken is giving that long monologue to Butch, the young Bruce Willis, about the watch, what he had to go through to deliver that watch. And apparently in between takes, he was shooting bits of Tabasco into his mouth to get the salivation going.
Oh my God, that is a fun piece of trivia.
And I find myself sometimes doing that now if I'm sitting at the bar and it's becoming, I don't know, I'll just grab the hot sauce bottle and shoot a little in my mouth, and it's like, oh, pick me up.
Fascinating.
I get that. Gets the adrenaline going, absolutely.
Yeah, it's like a little slap on the face.
and the salivatory glands, which I don't think is a word.
It is. All right, so we have a lot of sauces to taste, so we're going to kind of sprinkle the tasting in throughout our conversation. So shall we start with the first one? So we are using, per Wayne's suggestion, we're using blue corn chips. We have brie cheese, and we have cream cheese as our tasting platform for these sauces. And tell us why we should, as we get the first one lined up, tell us why we should have dairy as we taste here.
Well, I'm not saying you should have it.
Why might we want dairy?
If you need some relief, water will not do anything to lessen the effects of capsaicin.
Which is the burny thing, right?
Yeah, that's the thing in the chili peppers, which hurts you or makes you feel good. But dairy will help calm it. Recently, I was reading something else. I don't know if it was beer. I'm not sure if that makes sense, but
peanut butter. I think it's something thick and fatty, right? Because it kind of coats your tongue. So I heard peanut butter also.
Fatty sounds right.
All right, are we ready? Should we do it?
We're ready. We're going to taste.
So you're just tasting it on the chip right now, are you?
I put brie and the sauce. This is the habanero. That's delicious.
That's good.
Now I'm
it's not as spicy as I thought it was going to be.
Me too. When I saw habanero, oh my God, that's delicious. I can actually just put it on my finger and taste it, and it's yummy.
Yeah. That's good.
So
I was sure it was going to be the hottest one because I think of habaneros still, even though, as you say, now there's higher ones up on the Scoville scale, but like Carolina Reaper is one of the highest? Well, it's still now burning.
Yeah, it's got a good afterbite, but it's not one of those afterbites that's going to wreck me, which is good. Like as of now, I still feel like I'll make it through the other 6 sauces.
I know. I'm feeling good.
Yeah, I mean this one, since it's been it was made in 2008 and it's been sitting around aging. They do mellow, and I'm trying to read with my old eyes the ingredient list on my label. So fresh habaneros, onion, pineapple, carrots, garlic, lime juice.
It's very flavorful. Are habaneros one of the peppers that are more, do they call it fruity? Does that make sense? Because you put fruits in there in it, and I feel like I've heard that word associated with chilies, but I don't quite understand.
Yes, it has, depending on your interpretation, they do say it has a fruity flavor. These are typically Caribbean, but probably other parts of the world. I'm no expert on all this. I just know what I know, and I make up the rest. But yeah, habaneros have a distinct flavor, different from, say, jalapeños or cayenne or Tabasco. I like the flavor. Krista does not.
All right. What are your favorite types of chilies to use, and how do you use them?
Well, I love red ripe cayennes. Cayenne is just a great chili pepper. I use jalapenos a lot because they're prevalent. I prefer the red ones, which are the ripe version of jalapeno. I mean, most often we're seeing in the supermarket the unripe green and those pickled jalapeno slices we get in jars. Those are the green ones. I like chipotle peppers a lot.
Wait, are the red ripe ones spicier or less spicy than the green ones?
I don't know that there's a difference.
I see. They just taste different.
Yeah, just like a green tomato versus a red tomato, I think.
Mm-hmm. Or even bell peppers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe it gets slightly, sweeter a bit as it matures.
Cool.
All right, so we're lining up jalapeno next.
Yeah, and it's a green jalapeno.
Yeah, okay. What's in this one?
Well, so I don't know. A year or two ago, Chris and I were on a trip, and we bought a green jalapeno sauce off the supermarket shelf. And normally I don't care for this style, but she opened it, started using it, and I tried it, and I'm like, that's pretty good. And I read the ingredients, and it was the basics, which is chili, vinegar, salt. And we finished the bottle in a couple days. So I'm like, let's make some. So this would essentially be that. Green,
is this what a salsa verde is? Or is that more complicated than this?
I suspect salsa verde may have like tomatillas in it.
Yes, it does. It totally does. Thank you.
Which, and that adds a citrusy note.
Mm-hmm.
So,
all right. Should we taste?
Yeah, let's taste.
Absolutely. And
I'm using cream cheese.
I love this on pizza. It's great in cream cheese. So, I did roast the jalapenos on my grill and scraped off the skins. So they got cooked a little bit. And I might have thrown in a little bit of onion.
I do get the roasted quality. What's really great about this is on this one as compared to the first one, it really took a while for the bite to sink in. Like I bit it and I'm like, oh, this is really flavorful. It's got a lot of flavor going on. And then the hotness really just started to seep in, which I really, really love. Like it doesn't wham you right away like some hot sauces do.
I am so fascinated that that's your response because I had the exact opposite response.
Did you really?
I did, but I think I might have used more of the jalapeno. I think I was emboldened by the fact that the habanero wasn't that spicy till the end. And I think I might have put more of the jalapeno on because as soon as I put it in my mouth, I'm like, oh, now this one is spicier.
Interesting. I can't remember, Kate. What are our spice levels? I mean, we both like a lot of spice.
I think we're comparable.
Right?
I think we both sort of like the same amount of spice in a food. I like, sort of European spicy, not like proper spicy the way like an Asian person might or,
Yeah.
Well, that's delicious also. I don't have anything to say about it. I also get the roasted, the toasty flavor in it. And I can see that it would be good on pizza because it's so bright also.
So, Wayne, what I'm getting from what you're telling us so far, that it seems quite easy for any of us to make these at home.
Absolutely.
I think that's the big thing. That's a huge eye-opener to me.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be a mystery, although I guess it can be. I talked to a lot of people who say you make your own hot sauce, and I've been doing it so long, it's like, you got a blender.
Is that really it? Do you just throw everything in a blender and that's it?
That's one way.
Yeah.
What's another way?
Some of the sauces that you have in your care package were made from fermenting the chili peppers. So they spent several months just making their own vinegar.
Oh, wow.
And in fact, I still have my ferments from about 6 years ago in the cave. Wow. So I just go and pour some out, make a new hot sauce, and there we go. So, there are a lot of different ways. You can make hot sauce from dried chilies.
You can?
Oh, absolutely.
You reconstitute them, I suppose, or? That
depends. If you're using whole dried chilies, sure. But one of the popular store brands, Cholula, I suspect that is made from dried chili powder.
Wow. Interesting.
I don't get any sense and I love Cholula, and we always have a bottle around. I don't get any sense that it's got fresh chilies in it. I think it's made from dried chilies.
What do you think about what happened, Rick? Did you just taste it again? Did you get it in your eye?
Rub my eye.
Oh no, really? Oh no. Oh my gosh. Thank you for doing that before I did.
On this podcast.
Oh, poor Rick. His little eye is all watery. Yeah, thanks for taking the hit on that, so I will remember not to touch my face as we're in the middle of this.
Well, and the great thing is we can see each other, and I can watch Rick suffering here.
It's pretty great.
I was prepping the next chip.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm all ready.
Oh, Rick, now's a good time to ask you something. Do you know what a honeymoon salad is?
No.
Let us alone.
Oh, God. I see where you're going with this, Wayne. Game on.
Awesome.
See, and I haven't prepped any jokes for this episode. Thank you.
Well, that's good.
I was going to be joke-free. Thank you for taking up the time.
All right, talk to us about gator sauce. That's going to be our next one.
Okay, well, long time ago, I used to work for Radio Free Europe, and I was fighting communism, and we won, sort of. And my boss at RFE in Munich retired and moved to Florida, and this is where the brand Gator Hammock Gator Sauce comes from. And he knew I liked hot sauce, and on a whim, he bought, I don't know where he found it, he bought a bottle, sent it to me, and I love it. It is a cayenne pepper sauce with garlic and a big dose of ground black pepper, like slightly coarse ground pepper, black pepper.
Wow.
Yeah, the pepper.
Yeah.
I'm a big black pepper fan.
Mm.
When the waitress or waiter comes to the table and says, you want pepper on your salad, I just say, just keep going. I'll push you away when I'm done.
Oh, interesting. Now, to me, this one is markedly less spicy than the jalapeno one.
Agreed.
Oh, great.
I'm tasting a little bit more vinegar in this one, too.
Mm.
It is a vinegary sauce. It would be good as a hot wing sauce.
Yes. Yes.
And I love the fact that you can see the little black specks suspended in the sauce.
I keep dipping my finger in it and tasting it. It's so complicated and tasty. It's really, there's a lot going on there. That's really interesting.
I used to order this by the half gallon from Florida, but the shipping costs as much as the half gallon.
So now you just make your own. So I had asked you this before Rick injured himself, and we got distracted. So speaking of hot wings, what do you feel about Frank's hot sauce? That's one I just discovered, and it's what I made for my buffalo sauce, and I believe it's on the milder side, but it's also very flavorful, I thought.
You just discovered Frank's.
Mm-hmm.
You are a neophyte.
Right, I'm saying.
I love that word.
That is the traditional hot wing sauce. I like Frank's. I love Frank's. I keep big bottles of it around. Hey,
sriracha, is that fermented? Or am I thinking of... Well, I know gochujang is fermented. Do you know if sriracha is fermented?
There is a lovely documentary, I think on Netflix. If not Netflix, it's Amazon Prime has it, on sriracha. Oh. And the whole history and the plant. They use red ripe jalapenos.
Oh.
And it's very interesting. They've got one farm who only sells to them, and they only buy from that one farm. So
wow.
Yeah. And I don't, Tabasco is like aged for 5 years in oak barrels. I don't know that they're aging it that long, but they do have these big barrels, so it may get aged for a year or something.
Cool.
As I say, I'm going to make it up as I go.
No, it's good. The one thing.
All right. Go ahead,
so sriracha is red jalapenos, garlic, and they add some sweetener, I think. There's a bit of sweetness to it.
It's definitely sweet. The only thing I've ever really learned about chilies, and this was from an Indian cook, Artie Sequeira from the Food Network, who I like, was about the difference between serranos and jalapenos. It's not just that serranos are spicier, which of course they are. It's that they have a really different flavor. They have a much more vegetal taste that it goes above and beyond the spice. And that's one of the things I think is fascinating about chilies is it's not just about the heat; it's about their inherent flavor.
Yeah, everyone has its own sort of unique, subtle flavors, and there's like five or so different I don't know, genuses or something of chili peppers. There's capsicum annuum, capsicum chinense. I don't know how to say these. Capsicum frutensis. So like the annuum is bell peppers, Italian peppers, serrano, cayenne, paprika, and jalapenos.
All right. That's super crunchy, Rick.
Sorry. I was listening to you guys. So I'm like, I want another chip.
We had this great plan to try muting our crunches, but it's not working out for us. So we're going to let that go. Sorry about the crunches. All right. Next, we have cayenne.
Well, let me ask before we go on. Now
Yes.
that you've tasted, what, 3?
Yeah.
Can you imagine where you might choose, one of these, let's say, for a different type of dish? If it's rice, beans, or eggs, or fish, or whatever.
I was actually going to ask you about that. Rick, what do you think? Because for me, the answer is no. I don't feel like I have a sophisticated enough grasp on these to think, oh, that would be good with this.
My only instinct is I could definitely see the habanero and the jalapeno with rice and beans. And then the gator sauce, I was actually thinking that would be something that's really great on a sandwich, on a slice of bread with whatever sandwich I'm eating. Those are the only things that came to me.
Cool.
I was also going to say, because one of the things that's so interesting to me about this is you mentioned hot wings earlier. So when I used to eat meat, hot wings was the biggest delivery system for hot sauce. And I just think, and that was like, going on 20 years now that I haven't eaten meat, so I haven't had hot wings. And I think 20 years ago, there wasn't a whole lot of finesse. I just remember the whole thing that it was all about heat, not a lot of flavor. So I'm thinking it'd be so interesting. One of the things I do miss about hot wings is being able to have the sauce that goes along with them. So it'd be interesting to sort of have hot wings nowadays with actually sort of different hot sauces that actually are just not heat, but also contain a lot of flavor. That's what I was thinking.
You could do it with tofu.
Mm-hmm. True.
I've seen a recipe for like buffalo cauliflower, I believe.
Yeah, that's why I bought the Franks in the first place. That's what I was making. I was making buffalo cauliflower, and it was delicious. It's all that butter also doesn't hurt anything, and the blue cheese.
You got to have the blue cheese, trust me.
Yes.
I think there's a simpleness to this cayenne.
Oh, you tried it? I haven't tried it
I
yet.
thought we tried it. Did we not, Kate?
No, we did not.
Okay, I tried it. You crunch.
All right.
I think there's a simpleness to it. There's also a really nice smoothness to it. I know it sounds funny, but I can really taste the cayenne.
I'm surprised by how often I'm going back and dipping my finger in this just to taste it plain. I was expecting to be murdered by them, but I'm really not.
Yeah, I agree. This is
So
so
those
pleasurable for you guys.
cayennes, those cayenne chilies are from a farm in the Hudson Valley.
Oh my
It's
God.
all organic, and they grow a large variety of chili peppers.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
And I had arranged to go down and just get a half bushel of cayennes in October, 6 years ago. And I got there, and I'm on their loading dock, and I start looking around, and I'm in the candy store. And I have a half bushel of that and that and that. And then when I got home with my back seat full, I realized what I didn't think about, which is it's going to be a week of every night prepping these.
Right, totally.
I enlisted Krista. I mean, we had so much to do because they just can't sit or they're going to start, spoiling.
Was she helpful or did she let you down, Wayne?
Krista's a hard worker. She's a
Strong like
Capricorn.
bull.
Yeah.
She's an excellent, you know how, leaders make the best followers. So she's an excellent sous chef, I'm sure.
All right,
But
so
I do
we're lining
remember
up.
being at your house and her opening the fridge and being like, Wayne's making hot sauce. And there's like all these jars of stuff filling up the whole fridge. I cannot get over how much I love this cayenne sauce. Like,
I'm
this
still
might be
licking
my
it off the
favorite.
plate. Yeah, it's my favorite so far.
That is basically my house sauce.
Well, I
mean,
see
because-
why.
It goes a long way. It doesn't wear out its welcome.
It almost reminds me of, Is it wine? There's some alcohol it reminds me of. It reminds me of, it feels like a drink, like an alcoholic drink of some sort.
Well, now again, those are the chilies that have fermented for so many years.
Oh, they fermented themselves. That's what it is.
Yeah, so you've got the natural, the natural acid vinegar.
There is an alcohol
just like
component.
kombucha, sauerkraut,
Yes.
any fermented vegetable.
That's amazing. And we just did an episode on fermentation, so that's perfect. All right, next we have a sauce called Mountain Man. Tell us about this one.
Okay, well, so I moved to the Catskills in 2001, and at some point I started to make friends, local friends around here, and there used to be a restaurant up the road, and according to my friend Darren, it was developed at the restaurant he worked at. In any case, it was supposedly developed up the road from here in a restaurant, and it's pretty simple. It's fire-roasted habaneros, vinegar, and salt. At least that's what they claim on the label. And I don't know how I got turned on to it. I can't find it locally anymore.
So did you make this, or is this from them?
No. I don't pay $5 a bottle.
All right.
So, and for a while, there was another restaurant right in our village, and
Wow.
he was also, the owner was also a hot sauce fanatic. So when I'd get those half gallons of Gator sauce, we would split them. He would take part of it, and I'd take the rest. And he loved Mountain Man too. And I said, well, hell, let me try making it. So there it was.
Okay, that is by far the spiciest for me.
Really? Mm-hmm. I'm sitting here thinking, when is it going to deliver?
Wow.
Okay.
See, once again, I was probably emboldened by the one previous, which didn't kill me, and I used too much. I think I used a lot. But yeah. Wow.
Well, I just took a swig, so I can be on the same page with you guys.
What I like about this, I think, again, it's a slow delivery. It doesn't overwhelm you at first. It sort of creeps over your mouth. And even now, I'm still getting a hit. I feel like it's still blossoming in my mouth.
It set my mouth on fire the second it hit it. It's so interesting. So interesting.
But I think you can taste that roasted flavor, right?
Yeah. It's very complex. It's, again, fruity. I'm going to say fruity.
It feels heavy to me. It's got a bit of a weight to it.
Uh-huh.
For the cayenne, I felt was very light and very smooth. The Mountain Man just has a bit of a heft to it.
Have you just tried it again on your finger, Rick? Do you still feel the same way? Try that.
Oh, please.
Remember to scratch your eye with that finger.
I am sweating. I'm now sweating just for the
You are my
record.
guide today.
So, Kate, I mean, that is the thing we talked about at the beginning, that you get this endorphin rush, and it's like,
Yes.
I did. I still don't find it hits. It certainly doesn't burn my mouth when I put it in.
Wow.
What's the other funny is when I went to dip my finger in this, I got the side of my hand in cayenne. So now I'm going to lick the cayenne.
Yeah, well, that one I feel like I could drink, the cayenne one.
God, this is tough work, people.
I'm sad we're almost done. Hey, Wayne, so we have two left. We have the Bahamian, and then we have the Wayne's hot sauce number 5. Are we going to do the number 5 or no?
you might as well sample it. This, again, I think is from the cave, 2008. There were 3 bottles left, I found, and each of us got a bottle.
Well,
so I don't remember at all what's in it, and it's probably similar to maybe the first one that we tasted.
Can I add just a side note here? Is I've cleansed my palate with milk, and the Mountain Man is still going through my mouth. It's still delivering.
My soft palate is quite burny. All right, should we try number 5?
Yes. Oh my gosh, I'm behind. I was so busy
All right.
letting the other one.
Oh, you want
in
to do
my
that
mouth.
before Bahamian?
Well, I don't know. I felt like we wanted to
let's
end
do
with
5.
Bahamian.
Let's do 5.
Oh, let's do 5. Hold, I'm still not ready for 5.
And the only reason it's called number 5 is back when I was keeping better records. I think that was like the 5th recipe or something. I don't know.
we have asked Wayne to order these to the best of his ability in sort of like mildest to hottest, just mostly, like you do with a wine tasting, so we don't kill our palates by the time we get to the end. So he figured the Bahamian is probably going to be
All right.
the last. All right, we ready for number 5?
Ready.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think there's something a little fruity about number 5.
Oh, interesting.
Not overly vinegary, I don't think.
Yeah. Sweet.
It's sweet, and I feel like this delivers the punch a little bit quicker.
I do not.
Rather than the lingering, long-lasting, or...
See, now it's only now hitting me.
Really?
God, what a fascinating thing. I did not expect us to have, you know what I mean? It didn't occur to me we would have a different response.
Yeah.
Duh. Silly that it didn't now that I say it.
Well, you're from English heritage, so...
All right, I'm going to try it on the finger here. Okay.
Yeah, I think I got the question from Kate leading up to the show, like, how should we taste these? And my response was, they're condiments, and you can taste them on your finger, slug it from the bottle, but normally we don't do that with mustard or ketchup or anything else, right?
Right.
You can, and there's nothing wrong with that, but they're meant to, enhance your food.
It's a really great statement because, when there's so many hot sauces that you find, they overwhelm whatever you put it on with heat. And it's sometimes one specific flavor that doesn't have a lot of variety. What I loved about each of these is that they're delivering, I think, a lot of variety, and I don't think they would overwhelm. Well, they're certainly not, I don't think they would overwhelm what I would be putting it on.
I'm really excited. Next time I make anything resembling a chili, which one of these would you put in a chili?
Well, see, I would probably reserve that for when I've put my chili in the bowl. When I make chili, I'll use dried chili peppers, and I like to have some diced fresh chilies.
Mm-hmm. What dried ones do you use?
Ancho, guajillo. Those two would be good.
And then do you toast them? Do you reconstitute them? How do you use them in a chili?
Yeah, if you and by the way, a good source, the supermarket is usually not the best place for dried chilies. Penzies and the Spice House in Chicago, where Kate is at, those are great sources.
Or Latin markets. I have a whole wall of dried chilies at my neighborhood store because there's a lot of Latin
They'll
foods
be
there.
nice and cheap there. Yes.
Mm-hmm. But so do you rehydrate them? Do you toast them dry? How do you use them in a chili? I've always wondered about that.
Well, typically, you're going to take the whole dried chilies and on a low to medium heat with the iron skillet or whatever pan, let them warm up a bit. Flip them over a bit, just kind of warm them up there, and then you're going to let them soak in water for a while.
And then do you puree them or mince them?
Puree them. Just throw them in a blender.
Cool.
And typically what you're going to do is after they've soaked for a little bit, throw that in the blender, maybe the soaking water as well, and then your other chili base spices. So your Mexican oregano, garlic, cumin, maybe a coriander if you want. If you like to follow Jay Kenji Alt, he throws some, he'll do like a little bit of star anise.
That's an interesting idea. Maybe I'll just throw one in my next chili pot.
Now, do you tend to make beef or turkey or what chili?
All of it. Sometimes beef, rarely turkey. Chicken, sometimes. Vegetarian. Mm-hmm. All right, Bahamian. What is in this Bahamian one?
I don't know. I have no special story about this.
You don't know?
I was on the whirlwind of getting stuff together for you guys, and I had a bit of chilies left, and I thought, let's. I don't know.
Ooh. I really like that.
That's flavorful.
Yeah, it is flavorful. Exactly.
It's pretty spicy.
It's spicy, but
yeah,
not.
It's an average medium spice, I think. A little bit of hit, not too much.
And again, it's got a lot of other flavors going on in it that I'm no better at describing this than I am at describing, how the wine people are always like, with a taste of cocoa and leather. And I'm like, is it really leather? I don't know. So that's sort of how I feel like there's got to be language for this that I just don't have. That's delicious.
There's a thickness to it that I like also.
Yeah, it would cling to something if you wanted it to.
Yeah. Mm.
Do you think this has habanero in it, Wayne?
I think it has Scotch bonnets.
Scotch bonnets.
Scotch
Well,
bonnets?
but they're fairly similar to habanero.
Scotch bonnets used to be, those two used to be the strongest when I was a lot younger.
Yeah.
But now they've bred stronger ones, I guess, right?
Mm.
Have you had any crazy ones that are just, you can't tolerate them, Wayne?
I am not drawn to the scorpions and grim reapers and all that.
Yeah.
However, I did buy, I think from the Spice House in Chicago, some dried ghost chilies. That's the Butte jalapeños. And sorry you guys did not get this sauce. It was like shortly after I sent the care packages. But I've used one of those in a new sauce, and I love this new sauce. And I copied it from a company called Born to Hula.
Nice.
Their sauce is called Ghost of Ancho, I think.
Which has ghost peppers and anchos in it, I'm guessing?
Yeah. Unfortunately, when I made it, I confused ancho with chipotle because I just like chipotle so much, I think. So I made mine with, do you know what the chipotle and adobo is?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Love that.
Yeah, I do too. I always have a bunch of those cans on hand. Mm-hmm. So for that sauce, I poured a whole can of the chipotle and adobo, one ghost chili, maybe some habanero chilies, and then a whole lot of like pineapple and orange juice and onion, and there's a whole roasted red pepper, so you get some body without heat.
Interesting. Yeah.
Oh, it's delicious.
Oh, it sounds good.
I'm sorry it didn't make it to the
Quite
package.
all right. We have a smorgasbord here of deliciousness that you sent us. Chipotle are just smoked jalapenos, right? It's the same pepper?
Dried smoked, whereas an ancho chili is a dried smoked poblano.
Oh, so it doesn't really have any heat.
Not really.
I've always wondered about that. Oh, good. Okay.
You'll get stuffed poblanos on Mexican menus, and
Yeah.
but that ancho is like the perfect base for a chili con carne chili spice mixture. The ancho, guajillo, maybe pasilla. My Spanish pronunciations may not be great.
I think it sounds good to me. So, are there chilies that don't have any heat to them at all?
There are, and probably through breeding. I'm not sure that they're from nature, but there is a habanero that is mild to no heat. Really? And there's also a jalapeno that is not really hot called Senorita jalapeno.
That's sexist.
So Wayne, do you know, from your perspective, what are the health benefits of chilies? I felt like we touched on one when we started this conversation, how you said you sort of just do them as a pick-me-up. So one of the things I've always thought is it does, and I've always read about it, is that because of the spice, they create a heat, which gets your metabolism going.
I believe that's one of the claims. They say there's a lot of vitamin C, I believe, in them, but how much you're getting if you only eat it sparingly.
Right, that is a good point. Like, you have to probably eat a fair amount of chili peppers to get that kind of benefit.
And also read that it clears your nose. It cleared my nose today. My nose is clean as a whistle.
It definitely does that. There's talk about relieving joint pain.
Do you think that's related to inflammation? Because my understanding is that they are an anti-inflammatory.
Yeah, and they do make topical creams with capsaicin in them.
Because it's really the capsaicin that's the thing that helps to alleviate the pain, the topical pain.
Apparently, it can banish migraines if you spray it up your nose.
Oh, my God. We need to find someone with migraines to test it.
Are you making that up?
No, I'm not. It's on literally a WebMD article about this. Sure, it may sting, but it also may stop your migraine pain. It's a particular spray that has capsaicin in it, and 7 out of 10 people in a study who had cluster tension and other headaches had total relief for a while and said the sharp tingle was worth it.
What else it says that it can help fight cancer, that the capsaicin seems to kill cells linked to more than 40 types of cancers, including the colon, liver, lung, and pancreatic cancers and leukemia. The spicy chemical changes how some genes linked with cancer cells act and even stops them from growing. Isn't that interesting?
Yes. Why is that not more commonly discussed, if that's true? That's
they also
shocking.
say they're really good at let's see.
Oh, because it's in the lab. That's why. They haven't quite gotten it into people yet. Okay, well, that's exciting, potentially.
It's packed has lots of major health perks, they say. In terms of vitamin C, they beat oranges 3-1. That's super interesting. And they're also stuffed with vitamins A, B, and E. And some studies suggest capsaicin acts as an antioxidant to protect your cells and help tamp down inflammation.
I don't know. I've always thought that the amount of garlic and chili peppers that I eat must be counteracting my other bad lifestyle habits.
Yes, you're preserving yourself, basically.
You've entered your own internal fermentation process, Wayne.
So one of the things that Rick did not get in his package, but Kate did.
What?
Was that, Kate?
Jerky.
Oh, right.
It was spicy, sweet beef jerky. I'm not sure what it was called, but that's what it was. Did it have a name?
It was beef. It wasn't any other animal.
But it was sweet and spicy, right? Like that was definitely its thing. And I took it to, I had a little reunion with my grad school friends, Helen, Tiffany, and Amy, and I took it and everybody tried some and everybody really liked it. And we enjoyed the layers of flavors, it's that like it had first a little bit of spice and then it was sweet and then it kind of hit you in the back of the throat at the very end. And it was just delicious and the flavor was excellent. Yeah, it was very good.
Was it too much for any of the tasters?
No.
Good.
No, it wasn't. Everybody really dug it. And even one of the people had been sort of really minimizing her meat, but the intake, she's like off of beef for a while, but the rest of us were so into it. She's like, all right, I have to try it. And it was worth it. She said it was definitely worth it.
My big takeaway from today is I have in my cabinet several dried chilies because, you buy them for recipes and then they just sit there. So now I'm super excited that I have the ability to use them up. That makes me super happy.
What are you going to use them in, Rick?
I don't know. When I run out of these sauces, I could try making my own hot sauce.
Oh my God, how fun. I know. I have a feeling these will last me until I'm 100 though. I have to get better. I have to use them more. I don't know why. I just don't think about it. But for example, I have half a container left of cottage cheese. I think it's going to be really good on cottage cheese.
I would agree. And I am big on putting hot sauce on my eggs in the morning, my scrambled eggs. Mm-hmm. And even if I do a little egg over easy on a piece of bread. So it's definitely going to be joining my morning routine.
I usually only do it on scrambled. It didn't occur to me to do it on my poached or whatever. Yeah.
Super good. When I do hard-boiled eggs, I will throw a hot sauce on the plate in addition to salt, pepper. I'll also dip my egg whites in the hot sauce.
Yeah.
Because, egg whites can use a little flavor.
God, no kidding.
I make a something like a pickled hard-boiled egg. Tamari, lots of chili peppers, garlic.
Wow.
Peel the eggs, put them in a bag, let them soak for about 3 days. The more they soak, the more that brine sinks in, and they're so good. Slice them through an egg slicer for your salad toppings.
That's my mind is blown by that. You put what in there in the marinade? Tamari.
So I love tamari soy sauce things. So that's kind of the main ingredient. There'll be a little bit of acid, like maybe a little bit of vinegar, but then garlic, chili peppers, your favorite flavors. Put it in a Ziploc bag, put the shelled eggs in there, keep massaging them every day, and just let them brine.
In the fridge, I presume?
Yeah, of course.
Wow.
And with the tamari, that dark color, after like 3 days, you've gone a few millimeters in, and if you leave them a week, they're getting all the way in, and they toughen up a little bit because of the brining. But then you put them through one of those egg slicers, and you got these little things you can throw on your salad.
Wow.
It's great.
That's a fun tip. Thank you. I like that. Well, Wayne, thank you so much for joining us. This has been such a treat.
So literally a treat and a treat.
I know, and now we have this treat for probably years in our fridge.
We've been sitting on these sauces for weeks, not tasting them because we wanted to save them for the episode. So exciting.
And I'm glad we did, because it was really fun to discover them in real time. So that was lovely. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you.
And thank you all for listening. We'll see you next time.
And remember, follow us on the social medias, as Kate so well defined in one of our episodes. Facebook. Social medias.
Facebook, Instagram, website. I guess that's not a social media, but whatever.
No.
But we'll have fun pictures of this up on there, so do have a look.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks.